COVID-19 crisis has shown us that our old systems are not fit anymore for the 21st century. In short, we need a great reset.
Gene editing.
And you see, the difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take a genetic editing,
right.
Just as an example, it's you who are changed.
We can use human engineering to help us address climate change. People eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would, it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine protein. Turns out that the larger you are, think of the lifetime sort of greenhouse gas emissions that are required to sort of, the energy that's required to transport larger people rather than smaller people, right? But if we're smaller, just by 15 centimeters, right, that's a mass, I did the math, and it's about mass reduction of 25%, which is huge, right? So think of just the, like lifetime greenhouse gas emissions if we had smaller children. Right, and so that's something that we could do through some sort of human.
Could we, like, setting aside, should we?
Yeah.
Is that crazy? I'm going to ask Drew.
Well, how small should we go?
We shouldn't be so small that we get eaten by cats, right?
To do that kind of gene editing, some people worry that you are changing what it means to be human.
That's the problem.
Humans become cyborg session. I always want to be a cyborg.
I would like to highlight what you said about the European Chips Act, because it's an important step to create the physical brain for digitalization and to have it located to a certain extent in Europe.
We have to change our economy dramatically. The recovery has to be greener than any of the previous recoveries.
Policies, in some cases carbon taxes will be used to drive the demand for these clean products.
You give access to what is happening inside your body and brain in exchange for far better healthcare. And my guess is that health will win.
A new approach that is sometimes called DNA RNA vaccines, that the part you would change to go after a new disease would be a very small part of it. And so a lot of the work, the safety work, the manufacturing work, you could cut that out.
The FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. So it is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance.
Allow us to not just edit genomes, but also, and importantly, write a new code for life. We'll have write-level permissions. We already started to see some of that this year. COVID-19 vaccines, they make use of engineered code in the form of messenger RNA.
In 2010, Dr. Ottmar Edenhofer, then co-chair of the IPCC working group, said, "We, the UN IPCC, redistribute the world's wealth by climate policy. One has to free oneself from the illusion that international climate policy is environmental policy. This has nothing to do with environmental policy anymore."
Carbon must be given a price. The time of fossil fuel subsidies is over. We must phase out coal. Authorities must integrate the goal of carbon neutrality in all economic and fiscal policies and decisions.
We must not miss this unique window of opportunity.
"You'll own nothing and you'll be happy" is just one of their marketing slogans. The plan involves replacing shareholders of big companies with stakeholders who happen to be left-wing bureaucrats and climate change zealots. Replacing mum and dad small businesses and private enterprises with big tech and big business. Democracy and free enterprise go out the window. Totalitarian government control slides in through the back door. But remember, it's not only a great reset, it's a great deception. Because in order to get everyday people like you and me, Jackie, to surrender many of the rights and freedoms we currently take for granted, the repeatedly stated aim of these organizations is to deliberately use COVID as an excuse to use